Hey everybody, so what does the new administration mean for the Northern Virginia real estate market?
Hey everybody.
Sean and Kelly here, Price and Price Group of Sampson Properties, and this is going to be a fun topic.
It is going to be a fun, well, because there's been a whole lot of talk this week about the 4 things that was implemented by the new administration, like just this week, that affects the federal employees, right? So you've even had some calls from clients,
I've had
right?
some clients call about it. There are people that are kind of just waiting to see like what the market's going to do and everything, and but yeah, we've had some calls from people that are a part of this, what we're about to talk about.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, we're in the DMV real estate market, so we're like DC, Virginia, Maryland, and so we're right here in the muck of it, and so let's dive in. Yeah. All right.
Before we do, prayers to the families of the plane and helicopter collision from a couple days ago. So just wanted to give a moment for that. Okay, so let's dive into this.
Okay, so to talk about this, we first need to talk about briefly what the 4 things are, that's going to have an impact here. And so one of them was, first start off, how many workers are we talking about?
That's the question. It's a large DC area that we always talk about how this market is protected bubble because we have the government employees.
Well, you didn't take my bait. I wanted to see if you knew how many federal employees there actually are.
I don't know.
So it's about 2.5 million, but that doesn't include military and post office. So about 2.5 million people. Yep. That's the pool of people that we're talking about, right?
Yep.
Okay, so
and those are the federal workers, right? That's not like the contractors that have employees.
That's
and
right.
Like
that.
This
is like the people we're sort of talking about. We're gonna find out though. Okay, so first of all, there was the hiring freeze.
Yes.
Tell us about that a little bit.
So the hiring freeze, they basically said that it went into effect on January 20th. They said that there are going to be no new civilian positions created, nor if there is a civilian position that is vacant, it is not going to be filled during this hiring freeze.
The goal is for it to last only 90 days to give departments and agencies a chance to create a better game plan, I guess, going forward to kind of figure out which positions do we actually need, and so that's the hiring freeze is number 1, the first thing that happened.
And that does not apply to military, national security.
Post office, right?
It's some public safety.
So there are some that it just doesn't apply to. The second thing is the return to work mandate.
Yes.
Okay, now that's huge, especially for real estate, because in the pandemic, when everything really, really shut down and everybody did start working from home, that was a huge influx out in like PW and Loudoun County and everywhere. I mean, that was...
It was a great exodus from Arlington and Alexandria, and
so I'm thinking about all of those people who are returning to work. Okay, so this is mandated. Every full-time employee of the executive branch, so that's everybody who's not military and not of the judiciary branch, right? Everybody,
not Congress.
Not Congress, right? They all have to go to work.
Back to the office.
That didn't mean military. Full time.
And I know that this is kind of surprising for a lot of people who are doing this, but this administration is not the only people doing that. Amazon is making everybody come back in. We've got several clients that live in Maryland and different areas that are having to come back in, so they're looking for houses that are closer. So there's a lot of companies.
There's a whole trickle down effect that has happened with like the commercial real estate and everything. But yes, absolutely, that's right. So there's that. The third thing was this was a really, really long title that I read, and so I shortened it to, it's just basically the reclassification of the civil servant positions, right?
Yes.
And it was something that Trump had done back at his first go-round.
Okay.
And then Biden undid some of it, apparently, and now Trump's like, I'm undoing, you're undoing, and I'm changing all these words. I mean, like, you should read this. This is, like, not fun reading. But I think that basically it's giving more power to the heads of departments to be allowed to actually fire employees for insubordination or not showing up, just not doing their jobs. It's like letting them do that, because I think I read this, like they gave these really surprising statistics on the percentages of the department heads who felt like their hands were tied in doing any of this stuff. So I'm not a political person, but that's what it seemed like it boiled down to me.
Kind
Do you know
of.
anything different?
I don't. It almost sounds like they're kind of trying to move back into a meritocracy, where to keep your job you actually have to perform, you have to work and do that. So it sounds like they're just trying to set up that kind of a situation.
Figure.
I know, right?
Okay. And then lastly, the fourth thing that has come about has been
this is huge.
The deferred resignation program, right? So you tell us about this one.
So I actually heard about this a couple days ago talking to a client who lives out in Ashburn, and she said that all federal employees, I believe, 2.4 million, had received a letter that basically said
an email
that basically said that they can resign. They will go on administrative leave, so they don't have to go to work any longer, and they will be paid up through September.
Yes.
And it's kind of interesting they're doing this at the same time that they're doing the recall back to work.
Yeah, so they're like, but we can't go back to work. They're like, well, hey, here's an out.
Here's a little thing.
So I'm sure that we and those of you watching have some of your own opinions on like what you think is a good idea and what you think is not a good idea. That's not what we're going into today because I'm probably the most opinionated person there is.
And you're gonna keep that back.
And I'm gonna,
Okay, but 2.4 million people, if all these people decide to quit, that's 2.4 million people leaving the DMV. That's
wrong.
2.4.
Wrong.
I know.
I love that you're setting me up for this.
Yes.
Okay, so that is the common thinking, right? Is
yes.
that, well, I mean, most of them work here.
Yep.
But only like a very small percentage of them do, right? Only it's like just under 20%, I think, actually work here locally. The rest of the 80% is spread throughout the country. I think it's like California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. Is, so there will be other states across the country that are feeling this, but will they feel it?
I don't know. We'll see, because there's so much. There's such a low inventory for the amount of demand that's out there that this could actually be a little bit of relief.
That's my answer.
It actually could get us back to a little bit more of a normal.
That's my answer. Is what's the effect going to be? Like not much, right? I mean, if let's just say that I'm a lousy government worker, and maybe I'm maybe I'm a lousy one, right? Maybe I'm a layabout and all that.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm going to be like, hey, if I'm a layabout, I'm going to take the
7 months.
the deferred resignation program, right? Let's say I'm a great worker, but I'm unfulfilled and I just don't like what I'm doing. Well, maybe I'll take it and use this as an opportunity to go and like start my dream career somewhere else, right? So we do have like several little potential bubbles of people who are going to
potentially leave,
which means list their houses for sale, which means this is a really good thing for our real estate market, because what are we missing?
Inventory.
Exactly.
Inventory is painful. And let's think about this for a second. So if the common thinking is that when houses start going onto the market, that's when it's typically that housing prices will come down. But if you think about, because you have more inventory than demand, so that's the typical thinking. Let's talk in a normal situation. Let's say the interest rates drop to 5%. All of these sellers that are bound to their current house because of low interest rates, they decided to finally put their house on the market so they can move up or move down. They are buyers. So they're going to put the house on the market, create a seller, and they're also creating a buyer transaction. So the net effect in the real estate market here in the DMV is negative. Or it's equal. There's no net change. But if a small percentage of these government employees decide that they want to go and they put that property on the market, they're probably going to leave the area.
They're probably going to.
So it'll be a net positive for the inventory, which is a good thing for this market, because we still don't have inventory.
We still don't have inventory, and like we pointed out, not many governmental workers, not as many as you would think, work here. I mean, what do we have? So many tech companies here now. They're all like coming from California and going to Texas, and they've come here. And
we have so much private industry that's coming here that we're probably not going to feel any of this, except for maybe instead of 10 offers, a buyer might go against 3 offers.
So without me sounding like I love all of these decisions, we're only talking Kelly real estate, right?
Potential real estate.
Only Kelly real estate mind, because I really don't have much of a political mind at all. I think it's a win. Like I want houses.
We do want
we
some
have so
houses,
many
yeah.
buyers who need houses,
Yeah.
and so I'm like, yes, please. This would
Because
be
the
great.
people that take this, not if this is a negative effect on people that take this, that's obviously not a good thing.
Right.
But it's a voluntary taking. It's a
But
voluntary
we're not getting
situation.
into the politics of it, right?
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
just-
we're only talking about the real estate.
It's going to be a net positive for the
It's
market.
going to be enough.
That's right. Absolutely. Okay.
That's what we're paid to think about.
That's
and
what we're
talk
paid to
about.
think.
We're
That's
paid to
right.
think about it.
We get paid to do this?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, oh, wait, do we?
I don't know.
Oh, I guess not.
Yeah,
You have
that's-
this.
Okay, so we'll keep an eye on this as things start to progress and everything. There was a federal funding freeze that was starting to develop, but has been stayed. So we'll kind of stay
Oh,
on top
right.
of that and
So
see
that
if
created
that.
some furloughs for some people.
Yeah,
Which that's an interesting topic, right? Because we've had some clients who already received their furlough, right? They were furloughed.
They told me they were furloughed, which
I wonder if they're calling them back now
Yeah.
that the freeze was calling
yeah,
out.
I don't know. We'll have to see how that plays out. So it's too early to talk about that, but we'll see how that plays out.
That won't stop us.
All right. Okay, if you have any questions about this or any comments, please feel free to let us know. Post it in the comments below.
Yeah. Talk to your senator and your representative.
Oh my gosh, don't complain to us. We didn't write this.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I mean, I copy pasted it.
Well, you did. But we didn't write the law. All right. So if you need anything from us, please feel free to let us know. And
Yeah. Like anything from us, as in buying or selling real estate.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, I do make
I
good
did have
buys, though.
So I did have a guy.
Yeah.
I said, "Is there anything that I can do for you?" I texted him. He says, "Yeah, you can." I think he said something about finding a job, or it was something like
Yeah,
sarcastic.
we're not good at that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, maybe I don't know.
What are you good at?
I don't know.
Like I need.
Okay.
But okay, like and subscribe. All the stuff that. What am I supposed
we're
to
supposed
say?
to say-
And we're on all the social media things
Yes,
and
yes.
some version of Sean and Kelly and Price and Price.
Yeah, Price
Realtors
Group. Yeah, yeah.
group.
So if you or someone you know happens
You're
to
so bad at that. I say this to everybody, right? It doesn't matter. Like even when I got the guns pulled on me. This is how you hold a gun. Even when I got those rifles pulled on me in Chantilly or wherever I was.
Yeah, you did. That was awesome.
And I was so scared I almost peed my pants. And she's like, "Man, what are you doing in this parking lot?" And I'm thinking, I'm just a real estate agent. I was looking for directions. And then at the end, when I finally calmed down and they're surrounding my car, I'm like, and I did ask if I could take pictures.
Yes,
I
you didn't go,
I
yeah.
wasn't allowed to do that. But I did say, well, if you or anybody you know wants to buy or sell real estate in the DMV area, you have all of my information now, and I'm on some kind of list, so
That's
that would
right.
be great.
That's right. 703-424-5873.
Bye.
Bye. All right. It's the last 7 days of the Northern Virginia real estate market in under 5 minutes. Here we go.
Okay.
It's the...
Market snapshot.
That's right. All right. So what's happening in the Northern Virginia real estate market on a small scale so that you know what to do in real time as you go out and look at houses or put your house on the market for this coming week.
That's right, everybody.
Blah, blah, blah.
Here's what you're looking at. That top black squiggly up and down line, that is the buyer activity. That's how many houses have gone under contract here in the last 7 days. The squiggly blue line underneath, that is the seller activity, and that's how many new homes have come on the market in the last 7 days. And I'm super, I don't like it.
So,
I was excited to look at these stats until I saw them.
so our general trend right now is buyer activity is increasing pretty significantly. Inventory is increasing as well, but we saw that inventory dipped, came up just a little bit and dipped again. So inventory is starting to flatline here. So we still need inventory. Buyer activity is increasing, but it can't keep going up if there's nothing to buy. So that's why buyer activity is kind of flatlining. So
yeah, guys, don't you want to take advantage of that leave your job thing? Put your house on the market, go live your dream job, go yachting.
do it now, going into the
Retire.
spring market,
It's a
get
perfect
top
time.
market value. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So what that does mean is if you go down here and you look at the seller's market versus buyer's market, this gray line here is our neutral market. Anything above that is indicating that demand is higher than supply. And you can see we are still in that seller's market. Buyer's market, we're nowhere near that. But the overall trend, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I'm actually excited now that there's something coming in and shaking it all up a bit. Like, I'm excited to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
It
see
has me on
what's-
the edge of my seat.
That's right, that's right. So if the media starts kicking in and saying that the
If?
world is crashing,
Honey,
when the media
honey.
steps in and says the world is crashing, keep an eye on these market reports so you see what's actually happening.
You say, we'll tell you when the world
We'll
is
tell
crashing.
you when it's crashing. That's right. All right, so back to the graphs here. So
I felt like the
overall,
world was crashing yesterday. I was in such a
you
sour
were in a
mood.
sour mood. Oh my gosh.
Just like the world was crashing.
It was
and it
a
was even a
horrible
bright
day.
sunny day.
All right, so overall market trends
I'll
are
tell you when
moving.
the world is emotionally sorry.
Market trends are moving in an upward direction. Seller strength of the seller's market is kind of flatlining right now because we don't have inventory. As soon as that inventory starts coming in, we're going to see that going up. So we'll see it hitting that normal
I'm
spring
just
level.
trying to like spice it up because it's so boring.
All right, guys. If you have any questions, let us know. Please post any comments down below. Like and subscribe us. And if you know anybody who's looking to buy or sell real estate in the Northern Virginia real estate market, let us know. Did I do all right?
You did a great job.
All right. See you guys later.
Hey everybody, it's time for our Mortgage Minute with Tatiana Ivleva Lopez from Prosperity Home Mortgage. Hello, how are you?
Hey, Tatiana.
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. We missed you last week, so
Yes.
it's almost like a 2-week update. So tell us all about what's going on with the interest rates.
Rates.
The rates.
Yeah, we still got a new little hat yet.
I think they're improved, haven't they? Or am I behind?
They did improve slightly. They, moving back and forth, but they actually the trend right now on improving. Actually, they are improving. The Fed on Wednesday hit pause on interest rates cut, and in its first key decision of the Trump's second term. So, and then central bank officials opt to keep a borrowing cost in a range between 4.25% and 4.5% as they await further progression on inflation, which showed signs of stalling out, late last year. So, the Fed officials, they saying that they hoping that eventually inflation will reach their 2% target. But as of right now, in their comments, they did not mention like before that inflation is slowing more quickly than anticipated. So with this, I believe the plan before was to cut rates 7 times this year.
Yeah.
But they're not, looks like they're not planning on doing that. So, and as of right now, the rates sort of, like I said, they stalling and they don't know what's gonna happen.
You know what? I think it was a load of crap that they said they were going to do it anyway. I never expected them to do it, and they need to stop just telling people that.
Yep. We were talking about that the last couple of times. It's like what they say almost never happens.
Yeah.
It never plays out
It
the way.
didn't happen all last year. I mean, the end of the year, they finally were able to do a little bit of a cut, but it didn't pan out the way it was supposed to. Am I bitter? Do I sound bitter about this?
I think you're right, and I think they all do it just to influence people's decision too, right? Because everybody listens to what they say, and it influences the mortgage rates some as well, of course.
Yeah.
I think I would be more upset by it if there were actually enough homes on the market for people to buy, that ended up just sitting there and kind of creating a fraud market, my term, not any real term. But since we don't have any inventory really anyway, it's not as big a deal, but they still need to stop faking.
Well, and it does a little bit affect it when they're talking about the potential of dropping rates, because then everybody sits on the side. Like, I'm waiting for those rates to come down versus making a decision and saying, this is reality.
This is reality.
Yeah, but as of right now, the average rate, as you can see, around 7.11%. The jumbo is a little lower, and government loans, FHA, VA, they are around 6.67. And again, it's average rate. Of course, they're influenced by the amount of down payment, the borrower's credit scores. Sometimes the rate could be better than 6.675 on FHA VA, for example. I was quoting someone at 6.25. So
Oh, wow.
it fluctuates, of course, depending on the situation. But yeah, in average, those are the rates right now. And I feel like people, I think they're getting used to it. And I'm busy with pre-approvals and people writing offers.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna hit a pretty big market in the springtime. I think it's gonna be
Yeah.
busy. So it's getting there now. So if somebody thinking to wait until spring to buy, you're gonna jump right into a pot when everybody's doing it. So it's better
Right.
to do it
Yeah.
now than later. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've actually
That's
seen the
exactly right.
inventory hasn't been picking up as quickly as buyer demand has. We've seen inventory, it started picking up and then it kind of flatlined a little bit the last 2 to 3 weeks. So
Yeah.
hopefully that's going to start picking up to supply some of those buyers that are getting all these pre-approvals.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, what was that? You know, is it the announcements made by the Fed? And you know, I know you've gotten some phone calls from our clients about being furloughed and things like that. Are you seeing anything on your end with these
With
recent?
the new administration, like
Yeah.
what are you seeing that affect the market at all? Or not the market, the lending side of the
Mhm.
market?
Not yet. We
Okay.
don't see that, but definitely the furloughs would definitely affect people's qualifications, right? If somebody is in process of getting a mortgage and they get in furloughed, you cannot get a mortgage, right? Because
Right.
Okay.
you have zero income, you get the zero mortgage, pretty much. But definitely, you know, all that uncertainty and whatever they're gonna do influence the market, maybe not immediately for us right now, but you know, if they're gonna cut the grants, and it's definitely gonna affect some people, right? Not everyone, but
Yeah.
those that are looking for grants, they won't be able to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So does that federal funding freeze, if that does happen, because my understanding is it got paused by the Supreme Court or by some judge, if that does come into play, does that affect FHA and VA at all, or are those separate entities? That's not really a part of the grant aspect of the government, right?
Also, correct, yeah, and it all depends on what exactly is gonna happen. It could freeze and affect actually the approval process, because we use a lot of federal agencies to maybe do some background checks and others, so that could definitely affect the process of
Okay.
Mm.
getting the loan through, basically.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
And a furlough, is that like if you're seeing anybody get furloughed, are you seeing it that like they have a given time limit on how long they anticipate being furloughed? And if they do have that time limit, can they still qualify for a loan with that kind
So
of?
if you're on a furlough, that you cannot, they don't really tell you that you're gonna be furloughed for 3 days, right, or 10 days.
Yeah.
It's sort of indefinite, and we won't be able to lend to that person until they're back
Back at
out of
work.
furlough. Because
Mhm.
even if they tell them the time frame, that could be extended, right?
Yeah.
So when there's uncertainty like that, until person goes back to work, they won't be able to get a mortgage.
Mhm.
Okay. And does a furlough affect future qualifications? So what I mean by that is, let's say that I work for a company that gets these funds. I got furloughed for 30 days, and then I'm back at work, and then 6 months from now I'm applying for a loan. Do you
Oh,
see
will
any
that
world
pause
where
in
they,
employment?
yeah, do you see any world where the lenders might start looking at, do you have a history of being furloughed at a risk of it happening again,
Yeah.
and that affect that income?
We don't look at it that way. The only way
Okay.
it could affect the income is for those who are on variable income. So if you're just on a set salary, it's one thing, right? Another thing is when you're on variable income, such as hourly employees, or maybe your commission, and what we do when we qualify someone like that, we average their income. So if
That,
your
yeah,
hours fluctuate and then you had that gap, right? So
Mhm.
now your
Yeah.
year-to-date income is lower than it was before. So I see how that could get affected, but again, we might get some sort of instructions from agencies like Fannie,
Mhm.
Freddie, government, HUD for FHA, VA. So they might tell us that, okay, so it was extraordinary, it's not something that
Mhm.
happens all the time. It's out of client's control and not their fault. So don't use that part, like average it over 3 months instead of 6 months, for example. But
right, right.
I'm not saying that that's what will happen, but it could happen. It's
Yeah,
just gonna be their call, and we as lenders, we have to follow their guidelines, and that's
Mhm.
yeah,
even though maybe it's unfair and we believe that it shouldn't be this way, but if they dictate that this is how we need to calculate it, that's how we will calculate it.
Right.
got it. Okay, okay. So it's kind of a work in progress right now, just to
Mhm.
kind of see how things play out and what's going to happen. So we're going to have to kind of stay on this over the
Yeah.
next several months, just watching
Yeah.
and seeing what's going on.
Yeah, and the best we can do at this point is just kind of, listening to what's actually happening
Hmm.
and then kind of putting our thinking caps on and seeing where this might lead and what could happen to try to get ahead of it as best we can.
Right. Yeah.
We did have a wave of furloughs a while back. I can't remember right now when exactly, but in my 21-year
Mhm.
career, I remember that happening. It doesn't happen too often, but it did,
Yeah.
and I can't remember right now exactly, um how it played
Navigate.
out
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
calculations. But I think, when something like this happens again, the agencies are a little bit rusty on coming and telling how to do it, so they need to figure it out.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
gonna affect too many people, but
Yeah.
in our area, it might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other effects you've seen so far,
Yeah.
or is that other than that, it's just kind of business as usual? Everybody's getting ready for the spring market and getting those pre-approvals and getting ready to go.
Exactly, it's just business as usual. It's just, a lot of questions or what's gonna happen with interest rates, how
Yeah.
new administration will affect that. It's really hard to tell. It could go
Yeah.
Yeah.
either way, so nobody can really tell right now. And so we have
Yeah.
to sit
Right.
and wait and hope for the best.
Okay. So if you guys have any questions, let us know. And Tatiana, if they want to get in touch with you, how do they reach out to you?
Give me a call at 571-245-3000.
All right. See
Thank
you next
you.
week.
See
Bye.
you.